Hello students, hello viewers, welcome to Senior College Mathematics. Topic of discussion is number-based system. If you are in senior college, you are preparing for WAEC, for NECO, for GC, for NAPTEP, for JAMB, or any other external or entrance examinations into high school, this topic, this lesson is for you. Lesson 9, Basic Operations, Addition and Subtraction. Examples: carry out the following operations. Example 48, you have 742 plus 233 in octal scale. Octal scale means base 8, and you should know that in base 8 the highest digit you can get is 7 according to lesson 1. So we arrange the number for addition properly, and you start from the unit side or from right to left, where you have 2 plus 3 equal to 5. You write it down. 4 plus 2 equal to 6. You write it down. 7 plus 2 equal to 9. Because 9 is greater than the base, 9 cannot be written down. What you do is that you divide 9 by 8, and you have 1 remainder 1. You put down the remainder and you take the one forward, which is brought down in this form. So you have 1 1 6 5 in base 8. So it is clear here. The third column from the right hand side is 9. You divide it by base 8 to get 1 remainder 1. Example 49, we have 4777 plus 3777 in octal scale, that is base 8. You arrange the numbers for addition properly and you add. 7 plus 7 is 14. It cannot be written down. You divide 14 by 8. You have 1 remainder 6. You write down the 6 and you take 1 forward. So when you add 7 plus 7, 14, plus a 1, you carry 15. Divide 15 by 8. You have 1 remainder 7. You pull down 7 and you take 1 forward. When you add again, you also have 15. Divide by 8. You have 1 remainder 7. 1 remainder 7. You pull down 7 and you take 1 forward. When you add, 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 plus 1 is 8. You cannot write it down because in base 8, 7 is the highest digit. You divide 8 by 8, you have 0 remainder 1. You put down the 0 and you take the remainder forward and you bring it down in this form. So you have 10776 in base 8. Example 51, example 50. 724 minus 533 in octal scale, that is base 8. You arrange the number and you subtract accordingly, starting from the unit side, that is from right to left. 4 minus 3 is 1. 2 minus 3 cannot. You come to this 7 and you borrow. Now listen, the one you borrow from 7 to the position of 2 is equivalent to the base 8. This makes 2 becomes 10. So when you add that 1 that becomes 8 to 2, you have 10, and 10 minus 3 is 7. So here is 7. You are left with 6 here because you borrowed 1 out of it. 6 minus 5 is 1. So you note that anytime you borrow, that 1 is equivalent to the base you are working with. Take note of that. Very, very important. Example 51. You have 5C7 plus 8E5 in base 8. So you also arrange and you add accordingly, starting from right to left. So the first column is 7 plus 5, that is equal to 12, and in base 16, 12 is equivalent to C, so you write C down, not 12. The next column, you have C plus E, that is 12 plus 14 equal to 26. In base 16, you cannot write 26, so you divide it by 16 and you have 1 remainder 10. You put down remainder 10. Notice that 10 is equivalent to A in base 16, so you put down A. The remainder 1, you take it forward and you add 5 plus 8 plus the remainder 1, you have 14, and 14 is equivalent to E, so you have E, A, C in base 16. Example 52. You have 3DAC plus 4BCE in base 16. Rearrange the numbers for us to add properly. So from the first column, from right, you have C plus E, that is 12 plus 14 equal to 26. Divide by 16, 1 remainder 10, that is 1 remainder A. You put down A, you take the 1 forward. The second column, you have A plus C, that is 10 plus 12 plus the 1 you carried. You have 23. Divide by 16, 1 remainder 7. So you write down the 7 and you take 1 forward. The third column from right, you have D plus B, that is 13 plus 11 plus the 1 you carried, you have 25. Divide by 16, 1 remainder 9. You put down 9, you take 1 forward. If you add the last column, you have 3 plus 4, that is 7, plus the 1 you carry, 8. So you pull down 8. You only divide by 16 when the answer is 16 and above. So the result is 897A in base 16. Example 53. You have BEC minus 8-6D in base 16. You arrange the numbers for addition in this pattern. You start from the first column from right, that is C minus D, equivalent to 12 minus 13 is not possible. So you come to this E and borrow. If you borrow 1 from E, notice that E is 14, you are left with D, and D is what you have here first. So note that. So the one you borrow from E is equivalent to the base 16. So you add 16 to C before you subtract 13 from it. So you have 16 plus 12, that is C, minus D, which is 13, and you have 15. In base 16, 15 is equal to letter F. So you write down F. In this place, you are left with 14 now. You are left with 13. That is D. So you have D minus 6. That is 13 minus 6 equal to 7. You write down 7. The last column there is B minus 8. B is 11 minus 8 equal to 3. And that is what you have here. So the result is 3, 7F in base 16. Example 54, you have D 5, 7C minus 7, 6CA in base 16. So you arrange the numbers for you to subtract properly. So the first column is C minus A, which means 12 minus 10 equal to 2. That is the 2 you have here. Second column, you have 7 minus C, that is 7 minus 14, cannot. You come to this 5 and you borrow 1. That one you borrow is equivalent to 16. Then you add it to 7 first and subtract 14. That is 23 minus 14. All right, so let me check that. Let's take the second column again. 7 minus C, 7 minus C, and C is equal to 12, not 14. So this place is 12. You have 12 there. Okay, and 7 minus 12 cannot. You borrow from the 5 position. That one you borrow is equivalent to 16. So you add 16 to 7 and subtract 12. That is 23 minus 12, and you have 11. In base 16, 11 is equivalent to B. So you write the B down. Here you are left with 4, and 4 minus 6 cannot. So you come to where you have D. Notice that D is equal to 13. If you borrow 1 from D, that one is equivalent to 16. You add it to 4 first and you subtract 6. That is 20 minus 6 equal to 14, which is E in base 16. You record it. In the place of D, you've borrowed 1 from it, so you are left with C minus 7, and C is 12. 12 minus 7 is equal to 5, and that is what you have here. So your result is 5E, B, 2 in base 16. Add and subtract the following number system in duodecimal, that is base 12. Example 55. Add A, B and 12. So you arrange the numbers for addition. The first column is B plus 2. That is 11 plus 2 equal to 13. 13 cannot be written in base 12. You divide 13 by 12, you have 1 remainder 1. So you write down 1, you take the remainder to the next column. The next column is A plus 1, that is 10 plus 1, plus the 1 you borrow, plus the 1 you carried forward, that is 12. And in base 12, you cannot write 12. Divide 12 by 12, that is 1 remainder 0. You put down the remainder 0, you take the 1 forward, which you bring down in this form, and you have 1 0 1 base 12. Example 56. Add 1A and BB. You arrange in this form and you add. First column from right, A plus B, that is 10 plus 11, 21. In base 12, 21 cannot be written down. You divide it by 12 and you have 1 remainder 9. You put down remainder 9 and you carry 1 forward. If you add that second column, 1 plus B, that is 1 plus 11, plus the 1 you carried forward, that becomes 13. And in base 12, 13 cannot be written down. You divide it by 12 and you have 1 remainder 1. You write down remainder 1, you take the 1 forward, which you bring down in this form. So you have 1 1 9 base 12. Example 57. We have AB minus 1 2. Now everything is in base 12. So you write the numbers down for subtraction. The first column, B minus 2, that is 11 minus 2, you have 9. The second column, A minus 1, that is 10 minus 1, you also have 9 in base 12. Example 58. You have 1A minus B. This is the arrangement for subtraction. The first column, A minus B, that is 10 minus 11, cannot. You borrow this 1 you have from here, nothing is there. That 1 you borrow becomes 12, which you add to 10 first and subtract 11. When you do that, you have 11. And in base 12, 11 is equivalent to B. In other words, 1A minus B is B in base 12. Determine the operational base in the following operations. So in this problem, the addition has been carried out for you, but you have to find out the base used in operation. That is very simple. So let's add. 1 plus 6 is 7, and it is written down. Okay, you have 2 plus 6, that is 8, but here is 0. What happened is that 8 was divided by 8 and you have 1 remainder 0. So you put down 0 and you carry 1. So from this second colon, it is clear that the operational base is base 8. Example 60, same thing. So let's find out what happened, but this is subtraction. Now you have 1 minus 7 and you have 6. You know, ordinarily you cannot subtract 7 from 1. 7 from 1. So what produced this 6? What produced this 6 is that you borrow 1 from 8. You borrow 1 from 8. Okay, you borrow 1 from 8, but before then we can get the base easily. Let us use reverse approach. You know, if you subtract 1 and 7 and you get 6, the meaning is that if you add 7 and 6, that should give you this 1 that you have here. So 7 plus 6 is 13. So it means that for you to get that 1, it is 13 minus 12. 13 minus 12. So for you to get that 13, it means that the 1 you borrow from this 8 is equivalent to 12, which you add to 1 to get 13. And 13 minus 7 is 6. So the operational base is base 12. Is base 12. Example 61. What is the base of the following addition and the missing number? Let's find out. 3 plus 4 is 7 and it is written down. Okay. 5 plus 4 is 9, but you have 1 here. What happened is that 9 was divided by 8 and you have 1 remainder 1. So you put that 1. The remainder 1, the 1 that you have is brought forward after writing the remainder 1. Okay, so this place you have 1, 2. Okay, that means you divided by base 8 what you have. So remember, we have 8 here, we have 6. If you add 6 and the 1 you brought forward, you have 7 first. What you can divide by 8 and have remainder of 2 is 10. Is 10. Divide 10 by 8, you have remainder of these 2. And already we have 7 here. What you will add to this 7 to get that 10 is 3. So this missing number is 3 and the operational base is base 8. Hello. End of lesson 9. Thanks for watching and learning. Don't forget, watch out for more from the voice of Petakus. Lastly, if you are not saved, your life is in crisis. To avoid that, you give your life to the one that can save you, and that is the Lord Jesus Christ, and you confess him as your Lord and personal Savior every day of your life. If you are saved already, congratulations. Live righteously and be prepared, because on the last day, some will be taken and some will be left. Take good care of yourself. Stay out of trouble. Study your books. Do the needful at all times. Flee every appearance of evil. Don't defraud others to make money. Use your hands and your brain to work genuinely and legally, and the Lord will bless you. Goodbye.